holding this event on November 9th, near November 9th. Today's November 8th, sorry. The anniversary of Kristallnacht, of course, is November 9th. And it means a lot to me this time of year because my grandparents, of course, lived through Kristallnacht and left the next day from Austria. The November 9th is a big day in Germany. Not only Kristallnacht, but also the Berlin Wall fell 20 years ago on November 9th. The Weimar Republic was actually founded on November 9th, and exactly 5 years later, Adolf Hitler did his famous beer hall putsch, which started off his political career. So big things happen around this time, and perhaps that's why we've planned our dinner event now also.
This is our second annual. Last year was the first annual, for redundancy. And last year we were so consumed with just starting an event that this year really feels like a celebration to me. And I know that celebrations in communities such as ours are tempered. I know we often think about those who are not with us, but tonight seems special to me, if only for the reason that next year when we gather at this time, we will do so knowing that we have created a permanent home for the Los Angeles Museum of the Holocaust. Almost 50 years ago, a group of survivors gathered to treasure their memories, treasure the memories of their loved ones, treasure the artifacts that they carried with them. And in our proverbial wandering for the past decades, we have finally landed at a home. And this is a wonderful, wonderful time to fulfill the dreams and the expectations of the survivors, the honor they've given us to carry their memories further, to carry their artifacts further. And we look forward to doing this for decades and generations to come. So this is truly a wonderful celebration for those of us close to this museum.
All I want to say, this year we have more young people than we had last year. And that's the most important thing to me about the Holocaust. That God forbid that the world should forget about it, because a lot of people in the world are embarrassed about it and they don't want to teach about it. They teach you about Julius Caesar, about Hannibal, something that happened 65, 70 years ago. 90% of the people in the United States don't know or think about it. And our effort should be that young people shouldn't be able to graduate from high school in history without knowing the details of the Holocaust, the biggest crime committed in the history of the world.
My friends, it takes courage to rebuild a shattered world. That was the courage shown by those who built and fought for the state of Israel in the years after the Holocaust. It was this same courage that led you, the survivors, those are here with us tonight, to reconstruct your lives, to confront the devastating reality with a burst of hope. It's a privilege to stand with you, to be with you, to celebrate your achievements with you. In the spirit of Abraham, you have taught us that when it comes to rebuilding the ruins of catastrophe, you don't wait for permission. You take the risk and walk ahead. Faith is more than obedience. It's the courage to create. Thank you.
In order for the museum to realize our bright future, the future that is so beautiful in the video that we saw, and that I get to see regularly when I go to the construction site, and by the way, you're on my list. Everybody here, I just want you to know you're on my list. You're getting a call. You're coming to the construction site where you're going to put on a hard hat. We're going to take your picture, and you're going to see something amazing happening. It's happening every single day, and you should see it. You should be part of that. In order for the museum to realize that bright future, we'll need support from you, our friends. People who see as only the beginning the success of an evening like tonight. Will we get that support? I've got to respond to that question with a story before I introduce our first honoree. A king called his wise men together. He said, I want to know who is the wisest among you. And then he showed them a small bird. I will take this bird, I will hold it in my hands behind my back, and I want the wisest among you to tell you whether that bird is still living or whether I've killed it with my bare hands. Of course, his wise men couldn't say a word. They had no idea. So what does the king do? Well, it's a Jewish story, so who does he call? The rabbi of the town. And the rabbi of the town appears before him. And the king says, I have this bird in my hand. I'm going to put it in behind my back, and I need you to tell me if I have killed it or if it is still living. The rabbi thought for a moment, and he said, Your Highness, the answer is in your hands.
I really enjoyed working here. And I toured Germany and Austria and Poland for a while last year. And it really meant a lot to me to work at this project. I saw some concentration camps. I saw a lot of connections with the Holocaust. And to come back here and work at this, it was just really special for me. So thanks, Mark, and the staff for giving me this opportunity to work with you guys.
It is our responsibility to raise the awareness of the past and to pass the memory of the Holocaust on to our young generations. It is our duty to shape a present and a future based on justice, the respect for each other, and the respect for human rights. It is a great pleasure and honor for me to introduce to you a man who for more than 30 years now is making a significant difference in this very sense. Andreas Meislinger, founder and chairman of the Austrian Holocaust Memorial Service.
Thank you, but I guess, and I prepared a speech. I wrote it the last days, but I guess, and I'm afraid you made one big mistake. You gave me a Life Achievement Award, but I'm only 54 years old. And I have some other plans in my life. I realized the last weeks that we did not thank to our liberators, American soldiers. There is no museum in Austria and in Germany until now to thank these young Americans who fought for our liberation, who liberated the last inmates in concentration camps. And I will found this new museum in Austria, near Salzburg.
Tonight is a very special evening for the survivor community. Tonight commemorates the 71st year of Kristallnacht, the night of broken glass. This was the first physical attack on Jewish people in Berlin in 1938. It is amazing to think how far we have come since those horrifying days and how much the survivors have accomplished in such a relatively short time. Which brings me to tonight's honoree, a fellow survivor with a long list of amazing accomplishments of his own, my dear friend Branko Lustig.
Thank you to the Holocaust Museum to invite me here. And I'm very glad that this Holocaust Museum will be built and will be open next year. I think we need more Holocaust museums all around the world. And because each Holocaust museum is like a stone in a barricade that we putting up against something that's called not happen again. And I was I came here tonight, and I was very glad and happy when I was sitting outside and I saw all these people coming here, and everybody was laughing and have good time. And I was thinking, in one moment, what's happened 71 years ago? All the Jews around Europe, they were thinking, oh, it's finished, we will all die. Actually, they didn't believe yet, but that was on the plate for them. And look what's happened. 71 years after, we are here in America, and everybody has a good time. It's a big progress. I'm sorry to say, but in my country still happen that you have black uniforms on the stadiums, taking the hand on the Sieg Heil salute, and nobody cares. And if we don't do it, I don't know who will. But because when we die, when I die, and I come up to heaven, I hope, and I find millions of people they died in the Holocaust, in the camps, they will, I'm sure, ask us what you have done. And I can proudly say, I remember you.